Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ajulam here. Thank you so much for coming around, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you for the love and support. I really appreciate you all. And if this is your first time of coming across my channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. So for today's tutorial, I'll quickly share with you how to make a trendy ruffle ball dress for a girl. So if you're interested, keep on watching. I'll just be working with the net, my satin, and just the lining. So as usual, I will start by drafting out the bodice pattern. So I'll be using a 3-month-old measurement for this, though the baby is on the fat side. So I'll use a 3-month-old measurement for this project. So the bodice length is 6.5 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch for my seam, making it 7.5. So I'll just mark out 7.5 here, and I'll connect to a straight line. Okay, so this is 7.5 inches here. So now the shoulder measurement is 7 inches. Half of that is 3.5. So I'll be marking out 3.5 here. Then I'll come down by ½ inch for the shoulder slope. Okay, then the neck width, I'll be using 1 3/4 for the neck width, and the same thing is what I'll use for the neck depth, which is this point here. Okay, so now I'm going to connect the point, and then I'll use this to connect the neckline. Okay, so I'm going to come down here by the armhole, that is 3 inches. Remember the formula for this if you're a returning subscriber, but if you're not, it's just half, or the same thing you use as your shoulder measurement. Half of your shoulder measurement is what you're supposed to use. So now I will just connect. Okay, wondering what I used here is the same shoulder measurement. So I'll connect, then I'll check the midpoint. Here is 3, midpoint is 1.5. So I'll go in by just ½ inch there, and for the chest measurement is 19 divided by 4, I think is 4 3/4. Hope I'm correct, which is here. Then plus 1 inch for my seam allowance, that is the point. I'll use the same thing that I use here for the waist, because the chest and the waist measurement is the same. Okay, so then I will just connect the points as well. Okay, so I'll use this to connect. Okay, oh sorry. So that is the point there. So now, as you can see, remember what we are from the thumbnail, you already know what I am trying to make. So now this point here, this intersection point here, is where I'll be making it a straight line. This is where I'll be cutting out, because at the end of the day, this part will no longer be needed. Okay, I started like this so that you understand every bit of this tutorial. So this is the line, this point here is where I'll be cutting off, okay, before I will now mark out the V that I will be using for the ruffles. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out first, because I will also need it to explain the V part. So I'm going to trace this out separately, and then I'll cut out this other part. Just cut this into two. All right, so now I'm going to cut this out. So this is what I'll be using for the upper bodice, which is the inner parts. Okay, so now I will take this and I'm going to connect from this point. I'm going to make it a V shape down to this point, say ½ inch from this center point. So I'll make it ½ inch is very okay. So I will take this now and connect from that point there. From this point, I'm going to connect it to this point that I just marked here. Okay, so that is it. Now I will also connect from that point there. Okay, so I'm going to connect it straight as well to join with that point, as you can see. So now I will just cut this out. This is what I'll be cutting out for where I'll be adding the ruffles. So I will just cut it out and show you. The shape after cutting it out, so I will simply place it like this. Remember that I used ½ inch from this center line, which is this point. So if I place this here now, okay, this is it. By the time we add the ruffles here, it will close or cover up this other space here. So that is how to cut it. I'll also use the same pattern to cut out the back. The only difference is that here at the center, I'll add my 1 inch for zipper allowance. So I'm going to place this now and do the cutting on my satin. After cutting it all out, as you can see, this is how it looks. Okay, this is where I'll be adding the ruffles. This is the pattern. All I did was to add ½ inch for seam on the sides. That is just that. And I also add ½ inch as well for the seam on this upper area. Okay, so now I will show you how to cut the down part. So this is what I'll be using for the down part. I don't think this is up to ½ yard. This is 35 inches wide, and this other side is 35 because this is on fold, remember, and this other side is 16 inches. So this is what I'll be using to cut out the satin for the down part. So what I'll do now is to take this and place it over like this in a triangle way. If you're a returning subscriber, you should be familiar with this by now. So I will just fold. Now the next thing to do is to determine the waist measurement. For this, the waist is 19 inches plus 1 inch for zipper allowance, that is 20 inches. So I'm going to divide 20 by 3.14, and that will give me 6 inches. So I'm going to mark out the 6 inches from this upper side down to this other end like this. This is 6. So I'll mark to the other end. And then what the length I'll be using for the downside is I'll be making it 10 inches. Remember, it's for a 3 months old, but on the fat side. Okay, so I'm going to mark out 10 inches from this point. By the time I'm done hemming it or folding this hem area, I will end up having 9. It is on the net that I'll make sure it is exactly 10 inches after all the sewing. So I'm going to mark this 10 inches down to the other side and I'll cut. This is it. After cutting it out, it's just a half or a semi-circle. Okay, so now for the net, I'll be cutting out. Here I have 4 yards of net. Okay, so I'm going to cut out 10 and half, which is the length for the down part. Remember, the half is for my seam, so I'm going to cut out 10 and half into 3 places because that is what I'll be adding here. So after cutting it out, I will check what I have. If I still have enough, I will now show you how you can add it up to the dress. Pieces, like I said earlier, this is 1, this is 2, and this is the third one. I just folded the 5 yard the same way you fold your dress for it to be easy for me to cut. So this is the 3 pieces that I'll be putting together. Then this is what I have left, and this, okay, I just cut this out from this remaining net. Here is 2 yards, okay, wide, and this other part is 32 inches. Okay, so this is what I'll be using on that sleeve. That is the ruffle on the sleeve. This will be enough. Okay, so now this is the remaining net. For me to fix it on the down part, I'll just open this up, okay, and check how many, and I'll just check how I'll fix this remaining net on the satin. So this is my satin. Remember, I've cut out the 3 pieces that I just showed you now will be on this, directly on the waist area. So now all I have to do now is to divide this into 3. Okay, this is 10 into 3 will be 5. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the first 5. That is where I'll be putting, sorry, 10 into 3 is 3 and 3/4, I guess so. So I'm going to mark that straight to the other end, and I will also mark out the next 3 and 3/4, okay, like that, to the other end. That is where I'll be fixing, these 2 lines is where I'll be fixing this net on. So then I'll check what I have here. Here I have 4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to cut out 4 and half because of seam. That is for this first layer. On this net, I'm going to cut out this edge. I'll be cutting it off. So I'll cut out 4.5 inch in 2 places. That is 9. Then I will gather it and sew it on this first line. Okay, I hope I'm not really fast on that. marking it out. So like I said earlier, 10 divided by 3 is 3.3. So all I did now is to, for this first layer, I decided to use 3.5, and I also used 3.5 for this, so that this one will be smaller. By the time we join the one on the waist, this other one will not be showing. So this is it. I just marked that all the way to the other end. So for the net here, I have the first layer. Remember I said for the first line, I'll cut out 4.5. Okay, half is for my seam, so 4 is the length from this first line. So this is the 4 inches here. I cut this into 2 places, which is this. So I'm going to gather it and place on this first line. Now after that, this second line, you just place your tape there and measure what you have. From this second line is 7 inches, so I'm going to make it 7.5. Half is for the seam. So this is it. I just cut that out already. So this is 7.5 here. So, and it's also 2 as well. I'm going to gather it and fix also on this second line. So what I'll do now is to gather this first one and fix, then I'll show you. So after joining the first one, this is how it looks. Okay, so I'm going to take the second one, which is this, and gather it so well, and I will join it on this second layer. After joining it, I'll repeat the same and join the last one on the waist before I will show you how to sew the upper part, which is the main reason for this tutorial. So let me join all this first. So after joining all, this is how it looks. Okay, this is the first layer, this is the second, and this is that 3 that I just cut out that is on top. So as you can see, it's already looking fluffy already. For this dress, there's no need for hard net. So I'm going to keep this aside, and then I will show you how to sew the upper part. I'll start by sewing this together. Since I have enough fabric, I decided to use it also as the lining. So I'm going to take this and place it over like this. This is the front pattern. So I'm going to sew, okay, from this point. I will sew and I will stop on this other side. I will also repeat for the back, as you can see. But for the back, I'm going to leave 1 inch, which is for my zipper allowance. So from that point, which is my 1 inch, I'm going to just sew and end here. So after that, I will now show you how to do this other part. So this is it. After joining the lining, this is the back side and this is the front side. I did the same for the back. This is the back here. So now this is the next thing to do. So I'm going to place this over like this. Okay. So it should be like this, following the shape at this edge. Okay, remember I said I'll make it 1/2 inch from this center line. So here is the 1/2 inch, and it's going to be like this. So what I'm going to do now is to use the second one now and place it on top of this. I'm going to sew only one side first, okay, and I will leave the other side open. Okay, I'm going to sew one side. So this is the side I'll be sewing. I'm going to sew it straight and then give it a good press. Then this other side is where I'll be adding the ruffle. So let me just sew this, and I'll also repeat the same on this second one. So this is it. After sewing, I just stop stitch on top, as you can see, and I gave it a good press. Then I used my iron to fold this in a bias form, because this is where I'll be fixing in the net, and then I'll now sew on top. Okay, so now what I'll do next is to cut out my net. Remember, this is the one I kept for the ruffles on the upper part. So I'm going to cut out 5 inches from this. I'm going to cut that out as many as this, two can reach. Okay, and then we'll continue. Have 1 2 3 4 5 6, so I'll be using 3 for each, for one side, and this other 3 for the other side of the sleeve. So I'm going to take these 3 pieces here, then I'll open it up one and after the other and place like this, because I will be making it, I want this other side to be kind of slanting. So I'll just open them up like this and place the 3 together before I'll just cut just a slight curve on this other end. So I'm going to repeat all. I'll repeat on all these other ones so that at the end of the day I will achieve the results that I really want. So this is the 3 together. Like I was saying, I'm going to cut like this from this edge. I'm going to slant it a bit, and that is just that. So after doing this, what I'll do next now is just to gather it, and I'll also do the same on the other side and show you how to fix it on this one. So as you can see, I just use my gather stitch to gather this. So I'm going to gather it by hand, and then I will just fix it on this other side, okay, before joining it on the upper part. So this is it. After gathering it, all I did was just to sew it in like this on this other side that will be under. Then the next thing to do now is for me to just fold it over like this and stitch on top. That way you end up having a clean and easy work. So I'm going to stitch it now, okay, to the other end, and then I will fix it on the dress. So guys, this is it. After sewing the two, this is what it looks like. So now I will take the upper part, which is the front, and I will place this on it. Okay, remember I said that from this center line I'll come in by half an inch. Okay, so I'll mark out half an inch, which is here, and then I'm going to place this from that point this way. Okay, this is the shape as you can see from the thumbnail. So I'm going to use my pin and secure it. So guys, for the beginners class that is coming up soon, if you're interested, kindly check the description box for more details on that. Okay, so I'm going to pin it, and I will do the same. I will do the same on this second one. I'll mark out the half an inch, which is that point, and then I'm going to place it over like this. Okay, and this is just the look. I'm going to pin it also at the back. So this is it. This is the back. I'm going to place it over and pin also at the back. Okay, so I'll just open up the back like this. Remember, 1 inch here is for the zipper allowance. This is 1 inch. Okay, and this is the 1/2 inch. Remember the point, the same way I did on the front side, that is what I'm doing here as well. So this is the 1/2 inch where I'll place this. Okay, so this is it. I'll now take this also and place it at that point and pin. I'll also do the same on this other one and also pin it. So this is what I have after pinning it. As you can see, this is exactly how it looks. This is the front and this is the back. So now the next thing for me to do is just to close the sides together, and I'll take this down part and then I'll join it on the dress and show you the final look. The final look of the dress, as you can see from this point, I had to stitch it to secure it on both sides. I also did the same on the back. So this is the back side of the dress. It's only left for me to fix my invisible zip, and then I'll add my lining to the dress. So guys, that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you get to know anytime I post a new video. So guys, see you soon.